The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan Franz Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan Franz Concrete. Danny Brewer here. I'm extremely pleased now to be joined by high school basketball coaching legend Davy McClaran. Coach McClaran, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always happy to have the boys from Eagleville on here. We're going to just kind of jump right into this thing. I think you've been having a pretty good season this year, Coach, but now it's the second season, and everybody was 0-0 last week going into this thing. So talk a little bit about the focus of your team right now, and I mean, is that a challenge for you maintaining? Because obviously, like I said, success sometimes can breed complacency, but I don't think that's happening over there in Eagleville.
Yeah, there's a lot of film on us right now, so a lot of people's got to see us. You start the second season out, like you said, 0-0, and you play some teams for the third time, and as we start the region, we see some of our former foes that we played in the district the last few years, so there's a lot of familiarity with the teams. One of the biggest challenges is, not to become complacent and coast. Try to stay, true to your roots. It's pretty difficult when, there's a lot of outside factors and you read a lot of, different opinions or people, and they blow you up a little bit, and just staying grounded is probably the most challenging thing at this point.
Well, feet firmly on the floor is what you want. And, I mean, you mentioned a lot of people seeing you. The facility that you guys have over there at Eagleville, I mean, that's really a wonderful facility, a very nice gymnasium, and I'm sure it's even better when it's packed. And I'm sure there's been a lot of people there this year.
Yeah, our home crowd has been great. The atmosphere in the gym is always pretty electric. There we have great support, great student support, and the facilities are great. We're very lucky to play in a place that big gym. Not a lot of smaller schools have that luxury. We utilize that floor, to our advantage, and it's just we're just very blessed to be able to play in that facility. So
let's talk a little bit about the facility, because do you host the region? Is that correct?
We do. The girls' region started last night. Satellite. We play tonight at 7. We're hosting the entire region, so that is a good advantage to have coming in, playing at home. I always say that when you play at someone else's gym, you know that their starting five is going to be good, but their bench is more comfortable playing at home. So, that gives us a little edge, hopefully, that our non-starters are much more comfortable on their own home floor. And so, that is an advantage, a luxury that we have this year.
So I want to talk a little bit about Tuesday night's game, because I know it was a big win for you guys over Santa Fe. And now there was a history last year. Didn't you guys play late? Are they the ones that put y'all out of the tournament last year?
Yeah, they did. There was a very emotional game. Last year there was 2 really, really good teams, and we came on. We fell short last year, and of course, it's always nice to try to get redemption on the team that puts you out. Being able to, obviously get a win against them was kind of gratifying, but at the same time, there's just a lot of history. They play extremely hard. They're well coached. So it wasn't just as easy as maybe the score looked, but yeah, it was nice to get a little revenge on them.
Because, when you look at the final, 77-47, 30-point win, that's, a woodshed type beating, you think. Camden Cole, let's talk about him. Mr. Basketball finalist, I think he hit 31 in that game. Talk a little bit about him and what that kid has done this year.
Yeah, Camden had a great game, had a really, really good second half. In that game alone, he was just so efficient in the second half. I think, sometimes a lot of defenses, he's the focal point. So when he catches the ball, the driving lanes close up, the help is quick to arrive. So he was trying to do a little too much in the first half of that game. Second half, he was just super efficient. He was catching and shooting. The guys were finding him. He was definitely hot, and he capitalized on wide open shots that was created with some of the help, and he created his own shots too. He was just in a rhythm, along with James Vega. They both were, had their A game going, but Camden has worked extremely hard. He's obviously getting this attention because he's earned it. He's worked for it. And, he's a kid with a high motor. He honestly, and I know this is so cliche, most people probably say this a lot, but I really mean it when I say it. And I think people who see him every day in practice can vouch that he honestly plays the way he practices. He practices so hard every day. And so, I don't think anybody is, surprised that he's getting some of the attention.
Well, it's one of those things where that's kind of the like you said, that's the age-old cliche is you play like you practice. And so I'm sure that it's good because he's a senior, I assume?
Yes, sir.
So for your younger kids, I'm sure it's great as an example when you see this kid, what he does at practice, and then you see what he does in the game. So got to be a good example for your younger players.
Oh, yeah, and good example for his, his own classmates. I mean, they have no excuse not to go hard every day either. And they do. That's obviously what is probably made this a special season, and hopefully we can continue to do this, is Camden's not just a unicorn in that aspect out there. He's got 5 other seniors that go just as hard every day in practice. It really has been a staple to the run that they've had this year and the success that they've had while they've been in high school.
So Bega, he was another. I think he had 24. I mean, so you had 2 guys, one with over 30, one with over 20 in the same game. Got to be good for you. You puts a big smile on a coach's face when you got that kind of scoring.
Yeah, James actually was our tournament MVP. He had 21 the previous game. Camden had 13. So, sometimes some teams will do a good job at limiting, a certain guy that they focus on, and you've got to have somebody that steps up. And James had a great tournament. So, he's very capable of putting those numbers up every single night. It wasn't just a one-trick pony one time. He's been playing well the last 5 or 6 games. He scored over his 1,000-point last regular season game. So he's a threat on the floor every time he touches the ball. And again, we have multiple guys that are capable of putting up big numbers, but that's really the strength of this team is, you got some guys out there that are deferring shots to make sure the right guys get the ball at the right time. And, that's as long as we continue to have that mindset and play unselfish and stay true to our roots, we'll have a chance to win, on any given night.
So, Coach, let's talk about tonight. I think you host Moore County in the first round of the region. The first 2 rounds of the region are win or go home kind of type thing. So the importance of letting the game come to you for some of these players like Camden Cole, because like you mentioned, you can't force it. So talk about the importance of understanding that as you go against Moore County tonight.
Yeah, Moore County has a really good coach. Justin Brown is a really, really good coach. And so in practice, we see game film. We know their tendencies defensively and offensively. At least we think we have a good idea of it. But, the last couple of days we've practiced against boxing 1, triangle 2. At this time of year, you kind of have your offenses and defenses philosophies, pretty much ingrained in what you've done. So you kind of prepare for the unknown. I would not think or be surprised to see people throw the kitchen sink at you at this time of year. So, we want to be prepared. We want to be able to respond to any type of defense that they throw at us. So, tonight also, like you said, you start a whole new game if mentally, as far as if you don't win, you do go home. So it's a different type of pressure, and it'll be a good tournament opening game for us to come out and establish ourselves and handle whatever they throw at us, and not let the pressure of expectations and pressure of if you lose, you go home. We'll see how we handle that, and I think we will. We've got a good group of seniors.
Well, that's outstanding because it is a whole new season, a whole new ball game, and you've got a target on your back with the record you've got, and with also it being at home, got a target on your back. So I got a good feeling that your senior leadership will carry you through some of these challenges that you're going to face over the next couple ball games.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting a lot of people's A games for sure. We'll watch other teams play, and we'll see some people. And credit to the kids, I mean, obviously, teams want to play good against good teams, and we'll have some kids that hit some shots that we haven't seen in film, and the guys will turn around and look at me in the game like, you didn't do a good job, coach, on scouting. This guy's hitting shots out here, and then you watch them in another game and they don't hit it, and they look at me like we get everybody's best game. And so that's something that's good for us to have to handle. And we do have that big target on our back, and we've wore it, and we really haven't talked about it all year. The guys have just really been focused on the game that they're playing, and that's really another probably big point of our success this year. They're just locked in on the game in front of them.
Well, as we know, the most important game is the one you're playing tonight. So that's Coach McClaran, we certainly wish you the best of luck. If you want to see some good basketball, you head over there to Eagleville Gymnasium. Wonderful facility. Going to be some hot action tonight, and if they win, they'll play Tuesday night also over there at Eagleville. So get on over there at Eagleville, see those Eagles. Coach, keep flying high. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All righty. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive, locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family.